Hi BookTube, my name is Sarah and welcome to the Bookish Knitter. Today I am coming to you with my January 2021 wrap-up and stats video. So, it was a good reading month. I'm really pleased. I was looking back on last year, what I had done at this time, and I had read more books last year, to be honest. But this year I am focusing on slowing down and enjoying what I'm reading more and not trying to put the pressure on myself to finish, all these books in a given month. So yeah, so in these videos, in case you're new, is I go through all of my stats for the month of January, or whatever month it happens to be that I'm doing. I just love stats. And then I'm changing it up this year. Last year what I used to do was talk about just my top 5 books of the month. But I know you guys, I mentioned this a few months ago, and a lot of you seem to like this idea. You wanted me to go through all of the books that I read in that month. And since I've got so many less now, I can take the time doing that. So I'm not going to go into full explanations about all of the books that I finished. It's going to be more a quick little 1 or 2 sentence, but I have these listed by star rating from my least favorite book of the month to my most favorite. So every month what I do is I use Google Docs for almost everything. And I have just a Google Doc sheet, and when I finish my first book, I plug it in at whatever the star rating is, and when I finish my next book, if the star rating is the same, did I like it a bit more or less than the last book? And I slot stuff in. So even though there might be 5 or 6 books that got 4-star, they are still ranked within that 4-star. Does that make sense? So that's how I do it. So literally you guys are going to find out, here are all of the books from my least favorite to my most favorite of the month. So let's jump in and get started. I finished 15 books in January, which I'm so happy about. My yearly goal is 150, but I do have a monthly kind of goal of 15 books. So I hit my goal, super happy about that one. 13 of those books were new books, new to me reads, and 2 of them were rereads. That's a new stat that I'm keeping track of this year because I thought it was kind of fun to see how many books I reread over a given year. For my Goodreads goal, I'm actually 2 books ahead of schedule. So I'm at 15, of course, of 150, which is 10% of my goal completed. So that's kind of awesome. So as for star ratings, I had 2 3-star books, 6 3.5-star books, 5 4-star books, and 2 4.5-star books. We had no 5-star reads this month, but that's perfectly okay. My average star rating for the month was 3.73, so that's pretty good. I'll consider that a win. Excuse me. In terms of genre that I read 4 contemporary romance, 3 cozy mysteries, 2 women's fiction, 2 inspirational romances, 2 historical romances, and 2 middle grade fiction books. I like to keep track of the Harlequin or the category romances that I read in a month. So this month, 33% of what I read were category romances, which is a lot more impressive than it sounds considering it was only 3 books. But when you're only talking about 15 books, that's what happens. So I read 1 desire novel, 1 love-inspired novel, and 1 special edition novel. I read 13 books that were geared towards an adult audience and 2 that were middle grade. 2 of the books that I read were published in the 90s. Those were my 2 Babysitters Club books. 2 published in the 2000s. 3 of them published in the 2010s. So between, what is that? 2010 to 2019. So yeah, 3 books then. 7 books published in 2020, last year, and 1 book published this year in 2021. I read 7 of the books were ebooks. 6 of them were audiobooks, and 2 of them were trade paperbacks. All 15 of the books that I read this month were full-length novels. 14 of them were part of a series, and only 1 was a standalone novel. Of all the books that were part of a series, 9 of them were part of ongoing series, so series that I'd already started reading. 5 of them were brand new series that I started because I have a problem. I read a grand total of 4,685 pages. Works out to roughly about 312 pages per day. So that's not too shabby at all. So random, I like giving these stats now too. So the highest rated book on Goodreads. So I do highest rated, lowest rated, and then longest and shortest book. So for highest and lowest rated on Goodreads, that's based on the Goodreads star rating. So the highest rated book on Goodreads that I read this month was The Coffee Corner by Amy Clipston. It comes in at 4.40 stars on Goodreads. I gave it 3.5 stars. And then the lowest rated book on Goodreads was Stacy's Ex-Best Friend by Ann M. Martin, which comes in at 3.61 stars. I gave it, again, 3.5 stars. The longest book that I read this month was The Duke is Mine by Eloisa James, which came in at 405 pages. And then the shortest book I read, again, Stacy's Ex-Best Friend by Ann M. Martin, came in at 160 pages. So the only challenge and event kind of thing that I really did in the month of January was, of course, the Triple RC Challenge, which is the Romance Readers Reading Group on Goodreads. I do it every month. I have now completed it for 5 years and 1 month. So January was like the 1 month. But yeah, I have done and completed this challenge every month. It's one of my absolute favorites. I will leave a link to it in the description box below for February. So you get 10 prompts, and you pick books that go with those prompts. I used to specifically, when I did my TBRs, I would look at all the prompts and pick specific books to fit the categories. But now what I do, and I've been doing this for about 6 or 8 months, and I really like it, is that I have the list, and then as I read stuff during the month, I slot it into spots. And that's kind of fun too, because it takes a bit of the pressure off from like, oh, I have to get to all these books kind of an idea. So, because I'm all about low pressure, lately when it comes to my reading. So, ratings breakdown. As I said, I'm going to go from my least favorite book to my most favorite book. So the lowest rated book this month for me was The Duke is Mine by Eloisa James. I gave that one 3 stars. I was really disappointed in this one because I love the first 2 books. I think the first 2 books both got 5-star reviews from me. And then this one coming in at a 3 was just a disappointment. I really didn't like our main character. There was some representation of a mental disability in here that I really didn't like either. And this one just didn't work for me. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it, but I far from loved it. The next one on the list was Key Lime Pie Murder by Joanne Fluke. I also gave this one 3 stars. This is a book in the Hannah Swensen series. This one just was not a memorable story to me within the confines or the context of the series itself. I really do enjoy this cozy mystery series, but the more I'm reading it, the more I'm disliking Hannah. She is a bit of an unlikable character, in my opinion. She's a bit of a know-it-all, let's be real. And for this one, as a cozy mystery, the murder didn't even take place till like 40% of the way through the book. So, this one was enjoyable in the fact that it was more about visiting back in Eden Lake in Minnesota, which is where the series takes place. Sorry for the noise. My mother, as soon as I sit down here, decides to vacuum. And I'm on limited time this morning, so it is what it is. Anyway, I like visiting with the characters and seeing where Hannah is and what she's doing. But this one, if this is a series you're looking to get into, don't start with this one. Start with book number 1 because it is far better. The next one is Death by French Roast by Alex Erickson. I gave this one 3.5 stars. I enjoyed this one. It was a fun, cozy mystery, part of the Bookshop Cafe Mystery Series, I think is what it's called, about a woman named Chrissy who has a bake shop slash coffee shop slash bookstore, who solves, of course, mysteries. What I liked about this one was the fact that most of the mystery that she was solving was actually a cold case, which I thought was a lot of fun. But this one, it's not anything different than anyone else's writing within Cozy Mysteries. There's nothing spectacular that stands out. It's a single woman. She has a cat. She runs some sort of a food book type store. She's dating the local cop. I mean, I could be talking about Hannah Swensen from the Hannah Swensen series, but a lot of cozy mysteries tend to follow that formula, and this one is no different, and there's nothing extra special that jumps out at me. I mean, the writing is good, the characters are good, but it's just not, again, it's not memorable. The next one I finished was Looking for a Cowboy by Donna Grant. I gave this one 3.5 stars. The reason this one got a 3.5 star as opposed to a 3 star was because I loved the romantic suspense element in this. The mystery part of it, even though there wasn't much of a mystery because you kind of know the whodunit and you're actually getting parts of the story from their perspective, but the fact that our main characters are trying to locate them and find out kind of what's going on, that part of it was really good. But this one, if the romance had been a lot stronger and a lot more believable, this could have absolutely been a 4.5 star read for me. But unfortunately, the romance just fell flat. I just did not, it was insta-lust as opposed to insta-love. And I mean, that's fine, but it just didn't work for me in the context that this is supposed to be a contemporary romance novel when the basis of the book is a suspense, in my opinion, and the romance part of it just fell flat. Next up, we have Mine Till Midnight by Lisa Kleypas. I gave this one 3.5 stars. I know this book is a huge beloved book on BookTube and within the book romance book community. People love, and I do really like Lisa Kleypas's writing. But I just did not see what the big deal on this one was. It was a historical romance, and there were a lot of characters. It suffered a lot from first book in the series syndrome, where you're getting introduced to a gazillion and one characters and all of their backstories, and we didn't focus enough on the main couple. That was probably my biggest thing with this book. So, I mean, it was all right. I'm going to continue on with the series. But again, I think it was more that first book in the series thing where you're trying to lay the groundwork for the rest of the series, and I just didn't absolutely love it. Next up, we have Dawn's Big Date by N.M. Martin. I give this one 3.5 stars as well. This was cute. Another Babysitter's Club book. Dawn ends up trying to change who she is for a guy that she's going to be going on a date with. It was really cute, really sweet. I love these Babysitter's Club books. Next up, another one, the other Babysitter's Club book I read this month, which was Stacy's Ex-Best Friend, of course, also by N.M. Martin. I gave this one 3.5 stars as well. That's pretty much my average rating for the Babysitter's Club books, just so you know. Cute. Again, Stacy had this best friend since they were little, and then she moved out of New York, and now she invites her friend Lane to come from New York and realizes that the two of them have grown apart, and, you know, maybe this season of that friendship is over. And it was really, again, really cute. Again, I love this series. They're delightful. Oops, my tablet just went off. Next up, we have The Coffee Corner by Amy Clipston. I gave this one 3.5 stars. This is, if you couldn't tell from the cover, this is an Amish romance. And it was cute. It was about a guy who, you know, he's an Amish man, and he's moved away from his family, and he lives with his grandfather, and they run this they make outdoor furniture, and then our main character, she runs this little coffee shop in this Amish marketplace, and it's their romance. And I mean, of course, it's very, very, very slow burn. They spend the majority of the book as friends, and it's really cute. The one reason this didn't get a higher star rating from me is that our main character was very indecisive. She kept saying, you know, oh, he only comes here to get the coffee. He doesn't come to see me. And I mean, the first couple times, it's like hearing that from your friends. Like, you know, your friend likes a guy, and she's like, he only comes in, you know, for the coffee. He doesn't come to see me. And then your friend, oh no, he's coming to see you. But after the 25th time of your friend saying that, it's like, get a clue. Like, clearly he's coming in for, and it just to me seems like an attention getter, like, oh, woe is me kind of an idea. So I didn't absolutely love that part of it, but the rest of it was really cute. This is part of the Amish Marketplace series. I believe it's the third in the series, and it's really cute. It's about 4 cousins who run different shops, and I do actually have the NetGalley book for the 4th and final book in the series, so I am looking forward to getting to that one because these are really, really cute. Next, we have An Alaskan Twin Surprise by Belle Calhoun. I gave this one 4 stars. This was the Book Sisters Book Club pick for the month of January. And all 3 of us, me, Brie, and Chloe, all really enjoyed this one. It was really cute. It was a second chance romance. This couple dated, and then they were engaged, and he was a pilot, and that scared her because her father died in a plane accident. So she kind of left him at the altar in a way and left Alaska, which is where the series takes place, obviously. And then she comes back a number of years later, and she had a relationship with someone else while she was away, and is now the mom to these twin girls. And the two of them, you know, the old couple, like the original couple, try and, you know, work on their relationship. And it was really cute and sweet. It's a love inspired, so that is a faith-based, so it's Christian romance, an inspirational romance, and it was cute, and I really enjoyed it. Next up, we have Hidden Ambition by Jules Bennett. This one I also gave 4 stars to. This is a Harlequin Desire novel. This one was good. These are very steamy, very spicy. This is part of the 7 Sins series, I believe. And they are, what exactly? I'm like, okay, what exactly happened in this one? I remember our characters. It was very spicy. Oh yes, that he is vying for CEO of the company that she works for. She's like the executive secretary. So he starts, like, you know, buying her flowers, or he actually buys her a thing of highlighters, which was super cute, to kind of get in her good graces, because while she's not the one who makes the decision on who gets the job, she is part of the hiring process because this person's going to be working with her. But then the two of them develop a relationship, and the question comes up with, like, if I end up now being her boss, is this the right thing? So it's very much a workplace romance, but it was really fun. Again, very spicy. Jules Bennett is a great, great author, and I really like this series itself. The next one that I finished was After I Do by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I gave this one 4 stars as well. This one I read because my friend Chloe over at Always Booked, she loves this book. It's one of her favorites. And I liked it. So it's about a couple that's already married, and they end up like they're fighting all the time. So they decide to take a year apart. And it's pretty much that story. And I liked it, but there were a few aspects of the book that kind of really bothered me. In my opinion, it just reminded me so much of that TV show Friends with Ross and Rachel. Like, we were on a break. And like they were split up from each other, and they ended up having relationships with other people. So they were never officially separated, never officially divorced. They were literally just living apart and not in contact with each other. And then both of them were getting jealous about the fact that the other person was seeing someone, but what are you doing? So like a couple things like that, like I don't know how, if I was in those shoes, whether I would consider that to be cheating or not. I think it would be, but that's just me, and everybody's opinion on that is different, and that's fine. I wouldn't consider somebody else wrong necessarily, but the fact that they were getting jealous of each other clearly states that there's an issue. So yeah, I liked this one and I recommend this one, but it wasn't one of the best books I've read. The next one that I finished or the next on my list, I should say, was Engagement and Espionage by Penny Reid. I gave this book 4 stars as well. This is the first book in the Cletus and Jen Cozy Mystery series. So this was cozy mystery with a lot of spice. If you're familiar with the Winston Brothers series by Penny Reid, you know that they can get hot and spicy. And this one was no different. And there was a bit of a mystery in here, but it was pretty easy to figure out. But what I do recommend is if you want to read this one, you really should at least read book 3, if not book 4 as well in the Winston Brothers series, because I think this one happens just after those books. Those 2 books, as I like to tell people, run on the same timeline. Like they take place almost at the same time, books 3 and book 4. And so you're not spoiled for those 2 books if you are reading the Winston Brothers series, plus the fact that I think you will get a lot more out of this book if you read those first. But it really, really is delightful. Cletus is a favorite character of a lot of people, so I highly recommend this one. Coming in spot number 2 was The Lemon Sisters by Jill Shalvis. This, I think, is the 3rd book in the Wildstone series, and this one was so adorable. So it's about 2 sisters who are kind of estranged from each other. The one lives up in Wildstone in like mid-central California area, and the other one lives, I think, in San Diego or something like that. So they're not exceptionally close. And then the one sister with like kind of what she considers a perfect, like the other sister considers a perfect life. Like she's married with 3 kids in this beautiful house, and she lives in Wildstone and runs her own business and blah, blah, blah. And then the other sister kind of travels doing like documentary type filmmaking. So the sister with her stuff together, like with the kids and stuff, shows up at the other sister's house and is having a mental breakdown, essentially. Like she cannot handle her life. It's just she's run her life in such a way that everything is written in a notebook or this big binder. The kids go to bed at this time. They can only eat this. Like everything is completely, marked down to the minute. And she has a mental breakdown because of it. So the other sister ends up taking the kids going back to Wildstone, and she ends up back in her hometown, and she has a relationship with the guy next door who she used to date, and it's a whole thing. And this is a women's fiction novel. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. Jill Shalvis is so fantastic at this Wildstone series. It does have a few little hot and spicy spots in it, but not as much as a typical contemporary romance by Jill Shalvis has. So yeah, this one was really cute. And my favorite book of the month, no surprise for the last 3 months if you've been watching my channel, was Enjoy the View by Sarah Morgan Thaler. This one I also gave 4.5 stars to. This is the 3rd book and the most recent book in the Moose Springs, Alaska series. This is a great, great contemporary romance series. It is a clean series. You do get some hints of stuff that happens, but everything is behind closed doors. Takes place in a small town in Alaska, and this one was about one of the characters who's been prevalent throughout the first 2 books. His name is Easton, and he's a mountaineer, and it's about a woman by the name of River who is an actress, and she's looking to film a documentary, and it was so cute. This one did not get 5 stars. I talked about this one very recently. I just finished this one because there's pardon me, I have the hiccups. There's an incident that happens on the mountain when they're doing this mountain climbing that made me lose quite a bit of respect for River as a character. And she came back from that, but there was a big, like, not a huge chunk, but a good chunk of this book that I was really angry with her. And yeah, so for that reason, it didn't get 5 stars, but it definitely is a 4.5-star read. Love this whole series. I highly recommend that you all check it out. So that is all that I have for today's video, you guys. I do hope that you enjoyed it. Please let me know in the comments below, have you read any of the books that I talked about or that I read this month? Or what was your favorite book that you read in the month of January? And how are you doing on your Goodreads goal for January, if you have one? Are you ahead? Are you behind already? Are you trying not to let it stress you out? Do you even care? And until my next video, everybody, take care and happy reading. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye, guys.